Hello, I'm back and I'm going to show you how to place a photo in InDesign and what to do with it, how to format it, etc. So this is kind of important that you have already seen how to create a text box. You've already looked at using the text tool and you can see sort of the evidence there of my previous work. It's also important that you know things like how to find a document on the server and things like that. So if you haven't watched those videos or if you haven't had any training in that, you're going to want to do that first so that it's a little easier for you to figure things out. So we're going to assume that you know all those things, and we're going to go on to finding a way to make our text box. Not our text box, our picture box. So we go over here to the rectangle frame tool. It's the one with the X. Now if you hold down your mouse, your left mouse button, and on this you'll see another sort of thing comes up, and we have ellipse frame tool and polygon frame tool. You can make photo boxes any shape that way. But I prefer the rectangle for your book unless you have a really good reason not to. And I can think of a few reasons, but we're not going to go into that right now. I'm going to draw a giant box. I'm going to make it a skinny box. And in this skinny box, I'm going to put a picture. So you draw the box by clicking and dragging, and then you let go of the box, or of the mouse, and the box is drawn, right? And the X means, hey, there's supposed to be something in here. So basically the box is a container, and right now it's an empty container because there's nothing in it. So we're going to put something in it. I prefer to use the shortcut keys, Control-D, to bring up this place thing, but if you don't want to do it that way, you can go to File, and then down to Place. Where is that? There it is, Place. So you can click that, and that'll bring you to the same place. So Control-D is the shortcut if you hate clicking around as much as I do. So now I'm going to select a picture from Bandcamp. These are Bandcamp pictures. I'm going to go, there's one, there's like a group photo. I'm looking for it. Give me 1 second. Here it is. Alright, so I'm going to go here. I'm going to select that picture. Now, I'm taking it from my desktop because I'm recording this from home and I cannot connect to the server right now. What you're going to do is you want to go down here and you're going to find like something that says yearbook over here, and you click on that, and then you'll go into your content folder, and from there you can kind of navigate your way through the folder system until you find what you want. So here I am with my Bandcamp photo, and I'm going to hit open. And now there it is. Now you might say to me, but Miss Williams, that doesn't look right. And you're right, it doesn't. We've got to do a little manipulation to make it work right. So we're going to go over here to our toolbar, and we're going to grab the direct selection tool. Remember, the black arrow selects the object itself. The white arrow selects what's in the object. So that's what we want to do. We want to grab what's inside the box. So I've got my white selection tool, and here I am. You can see it's turned into a hand. That means you can grab it and you can move it around without actually moving the box itself. We're just moving the contents inside the box instead of the actual box. Now, when I click on it, you can see this sort of blue, sort of greenish outline, this teal sort of color. That's the outline of the actual picture. So the actual picture is much, much bigger than the box. So what are we going to do about that? Well, some of us would be tempted to grab the side of the box and, just drag it until it's the right size, right? And here we're just going to drag it. This is a very bad idea. And the reason it's a really bad idea is because what happens to your picture, look at it. Everybody's suddenly short and squatty and looking all kind of fat-ish there, and these people are not fat and short like that. This is a problem. So, and once you stretch a picture like that, there's really no way after you've saved it to undo that, and you've ruined it. And there's no getting it back, really. So what you really need to do is make sure that you are using the proper method for filling a box. If you give me a spread with a stretched picture, you're going to get an F on it. Like right away, that's an automatic failure. I absolutely will not tolerate stretched pictures. There's no reason for that. because all you have to do is right-click on the picture to bring up this menu. And you can do one of two things. You can go to Transform and Scale. And once you click Scale, you'll see here is this. Make sure the Preview box is checked. And basically what you do is I just click here by Scale X, and I hit the down arrow, and you can watch it shrink until it's the size that you want. And you hit OK. And then you can grab it and move it around and make sure that it fits. And look, they're not short and squatty. Nobody is stretched out. It's perfect proportion, and that's what we want. Another way to do this is to right-click and go to Fitting. And you have some options, right? Something that's really important to know. You want to choose something that has the word proportionally in it, because if you don't, it's going to stretch, the computer's going to stretch it out for you, and it's going to be warped and a mess. So make sure you either fill the frame proportionally or you fit the content proportionally. It depends on whether you want the box to be full and you don't want to change the size of the box. Then you're going to want to fill frame proportionally. Fit content proportionally is going to, you're going to have to change the size of the box. So it just kind of depends on how you feel about changing your box as to what you do there. Alright, but I already have it in a way that I like it. So now I'm going to zoom in. One way to zoom in is to go up here and to click on this and then select the amount of zooming in you want. I'm going to go to maybe 150 so we can get a real good look at this picture here. So notice that it's pixelated. Do you see that? And I'll zoom in a little more. You can see when it's jagged like this, this is called pixelation, and this is a problem. So what are we going to do about it? Well, your computer automatically tries to save memory by giving you a very low resolution image when you're looking at your spread. Now, it may or may not be an actually low resolution image. Your images need to be 300 dpi. That's the photo quality that you need to have. And if you've used one of our cameras and you haven't used some wonky Photoshop or Lightroom setting, you should be fine with that. It should be all good. This one I shot with my Nikon D90, and so it should be good enough, but it looks like this. So in order to check it, we go to Object, and all the way down to the bottom, Display Performance, and High Quality Display. Oh, except that you have to have it selected, sorry. Let me go with the black arrow here. I'm going to select that. And now let's see if it'll let us go to Display Performance, High Quality Display, and it'll take it a minute, and now look, it's clearer. It's not pixelated anymore, and now we have kind of a funny face there. I'm going to zoom out so you can kind of see what it would look like at 100%. So here it is as it would appear on a page in the yearbook, which is much better, right? So we know we don't have the picture quality problem that we thought we had. Now, that being said, every time you open the spread, your computer is going to default to the low quality setting because it's trying to save memory. And if you have everything on high quality display, your computer may slow down substantially. So don't sweat it that you have to keep putting high quality display. It doesn't matter if it's high quality display unless you need to look at that picture for a reason, if you have some kind of reason why. So don't worry about it. If it's goes back and forth between being pixelated and not being pixelated. All right, now if you hit high quality display and it's still pixelated, then you need to delete that photo and use something else. That's non-negotiable. Do not use a pixelated photo on your spread. All right, so the next thing you need to know is that every photo can have a frame around it. You can use the stroke setting, which we learned about already in when we were talking about text. Now, when the stroke setting for a photo looks a little different, but you click here and you can choose what kind of arrow you want. You can have dots, white diamond, wavy, etc. Personally, I'm a fan of the thick, thin, or just a solid. I'm a thin line person. I know that right now in design, the trend is to have no outlines. And so if you don't like outlines, you don't have to have one. But let's say you're a solid outline kind of person, and let's say you want a really fat one. say you like a fat outline, which is, I'm going to say, not so trendy right now as far as design trends go, but let's say you like it and you're willing to go with that, then I've got a fat line for you. All right, so how do we color this? Do we want to keep it black? Let's see what it looks like. We'll go to preview and unclick it, and that's kind of what it looks like. That's not so bad. You can also choose, to use the stroke palette and choose a color. Maybe you really like, oops, cancel that, sorry. I misclicked. All right, so I'm going over here, back to Balfour X, because remember, we use Balfour X colors. Maybe you really like pink, and now we're going to, oops, I gotta select that first. Now we're going to make it pink. I don't know why you would want it to be pink, but let's say you do. And now, voila, we have a pink frame. And let's say you want another frame around that. You can draw another one and put it around that, and you can have, several if you like it. Another option for changing colors of things, and this is not just stroke and it's not just stroke, you can also do this with film. You can go down here to this little eyedropper tool. You click on the eyedropper, and now what you can do is select anything on the page. So I've filled my, notice that the eyedropper's full now. I clicked on her shirt. And if I click on our stroke here, suddenly it's that color. Now it changed size for some reason. I'm not sure why it did that, but that's alright. We can go over here and select it. And now we're going to make it size 8 like the other one was. And here it matches her shirt. So being able to color pick out of a photo ensures that you have an exact match on your page, which is a good thing, right? So now I'm backing up. Ta-da! You can see that is how you put a picture on a page. All right, that is how you put a picture on the page. You can use stroke and fill, etc. And also, one more thing, you can use all the effects that we talked about in the previous thing with the text. You can also use with your picture. We can go to effects, and you can change the transparency of something, right? You can make it, let's say you want it to be barely there. Maybe it's a background picture, and you want it to be barely there. So we're gonna do that to it, and now look at it. It's just kind of in the background. It's sort of there, but not. And that might be a good way to do a backdrop on a page or something like that. Let's say you don't want to do that. Let's say you want to have a basic feather. Now this is not advisable if you have a stroke. So I'm going to take the stroke off. Now, with the basic feathering, what that does is it makes the edges softer, right? And if you want to adjust that, you can go back to your basic feather palette here. We'll move it so we can kind of see. You can make the feather width bigger. Oops, you gotta select it, I think. Hang on. Hit OK. Alright, so I'm going to click here, and go here, and go here, and try again. My feather width, I can make it really big. Now you'll notice, look at the corner of the picture over here now. Oops. Now you can see it's sort of faded. And this was part of the feature, if you were familiar with the 2018 cover, how the pictures sort of faded one into the other. That's kind of one of the techniques that we use to make that happen. So if you like that sort of dreamy effect, it's kind of nice. It's also kind of nice paired with it being sort of the opacity being moved down, because it sort of makes it a little bit more ghosted there. It's kind of nice. So there it is, friends, how to place a picture and the things that you can do with it. Tune in next time for even more fun with InDesign. Thanks.